Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining me. Today is Saturday, January the 25th, and I just recently left Sioux Falls where we had a glorious ordination service for Brenda Lewis and Barbara Simpson. Both of these women were ordained to the Sacred Order of Deacons, and very, very, very grateful to Dean Ward and the good folks of Calvary Cathedral for their hospitality. It was a very well attended service, and I'm grateful to the number of clergy from across our diocese who were able to attend. I'm now heading to Brookings, where we'll be having a visitation at St. Paul's. St. Paul's is currently without a rector, and they're in a search process, and we are keeping them in our prayers in that search, and hopefully we might have some good news to share in the very near future. Thank you again for coming along. Let's travel some missional miles together.
It was great to return to St. Paul's in Brookings. My visit began with a delightful dinner organized by the gracious Lynn Hublou at her home, where I had the opportunity to visit with various members of the vestry. I sincerely appreciated the chance to connect and exchange ideas with them, and I appreciated Lynn's hospitality very much. The vestry at St. Paul's demonstrates a considerable commitment to their faith in our Lord by effectively managing their church governance, while at the same time by fostering a sense of community and ministry during this interim period between rectors. It is truly encouraging to observe this congregation's active participation in supporting those in need within Brookings, as evidenced by their initiatives aimed at addressing hunger and providing essential items such as laundry cleaning packets to individuals facing challenging circumstances. As previously mentioned, St. Paul's is currently in the process of selecting a new rector, following the retirement of the Reverend Dr. Larry Ort, who served with dedication and who is now offering supply services at Christ Church in Millbank. During this transitional phase, the Reverend David Hussey, despite being retired for a second time, continues to offer his leadership and ministry at St. Paul's on 2 Sundays each month, while he dedicates the other Sundays to St. Peter's in Fort Pierre. During my visit, we celebrated the baptism of Lynn, a third-generation member of St. Paul's, who is the fifth generation of her family to make St. Paul's her spiritual home. That is quite the legacy. Following the service, we gathered for a potluck and had a very good discussion during a Q&A session. Topics included reflection on Bishop Marianne Boody's homily delivered at her cathedral in Washington, D.C. during the inaugural prayer service, and considerations regarding proposed legislation related to the 10 Commandments within the South Dakota State Legislature. After the potluck, I had a very meaningful conversation with Lynn Hublou and Marsha Klein about St. Paul's involvement in the ministry of sleep and heavenly peace. If you watched the Missional Miles segment about my visit to St. Mary's Episcopal Church in Mitchell, you may recall learning that the congregation of New Home Lutheran Church, a congregation which shares clergy with St. Mary's, also participates in this program. I'm profoundly grateful to Lynn and Marsha for sharing their insights regarding this good work, and I strongly encourage you to give them a listen and reach out to them for further information if your congregation is interested in being a part of this transformative ministry in your own area. St. Paul's is doing a wonderful job when it comes to being the church that many people don't expect them to be, and I am grateful to them for their faithful witness and ministry.
Sitting here with Lynn Huber and with Marsha Klein, two of the leaders here at St. Paul's in Brookings. Just had an absolutely glorious worship service. It's so much fun coming here, and the number of children that were running around and I'm watching one of them just run right past me into the sacristy, followed by his mother, and nobody having a panic attack. It was great. Marsha, your newest grandchild, got baptized today.
She did.
Lyndon, just absolutely beautiful. 7 weeks old.
7 weeks old. Mm-hmm.
Really fun and a great potluck after the service, and very good question raised late regarding the Episcopal Church being in the news, and the Ten Commandment questions coming up in the legislature in South Dakota. One of the things I wanted to visit with the two of you about was a topic that I learned y'all were involved in, a ministry that I learned y'all were involved in when I saw your video as part of your search for your new rector. You know, continue to be in our prayers in that search. The ministry program is Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and I first heard about it as I shared with you when I was in Mitchell. And New Home Lutheran Church was involved in that. And to be honest, I thought that was just a local program. I didn't know how widespread it was. So I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing with me and with the diocese at large what your history has been with Sleep in Heavenly Peace. How'd you get involved with it? How is your congregation involved in it? And if another congregation was interested in participating, partnering in this ministry, what you advise them to do?
Well, it was kind of a slow evolution, I think, but what happened was the youth group, and Marsha is very involved with the younger kids, or had been very involved with the younger kids in Christian education, and I've had the high school and college age kids. Well, they want to make a difference. They want to have service projects to work on. And so I had gone online to look at opportunities in Brookings, what's available. And there are some age restrictions. So, we've got college kids and we've got freshmen in high school. In other words, they're not 18 years old yet. So what are we going to do where all of them can participate? So I had heard about Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And I called someone and we had a long visit about it, and then he told me who I needed to contact, and I contacted her, and Marsha can tell you about the person I contacted. But anyway, she said, yes, indeed, we need help with blankets. And so what Sleep in Heavenly Peace does is they have a warehouse, and you can tell about that too, where we were for dinner that night, where they build the beds. So every child gets a bed, a real bed off the floor, mattress, bedding, blankets, a pillow, and then the gal Vicky that we worked with also provides the kids with a teddy bear. So that's another aspect that we took up. But anyhow, so Vicky said, yes, I have all this fleece. And so she came with these enormous plastic bags of fleece. And so we ended up making these blankets, and they were a throw. This is beyond the bedding that the kids get. So what she wants is for these kids to have like a snuggle blanket. They can just lie down and have something to snuggle with, and then of course the teddy bear is just an added bonus. But what she told me, and this was a couple of years ago, wasn't it a couple of years ago, that over 250 kids had been provided with a place to sleep. No child sleeps on the floor is their motto.
In South Dakota.
No,
this was
in our region.
Oh, in our region. Okay.
Yeah. And so our region is Brookings and of like a 50-mile radius. So she told us about what it's like when they deliver deliver the beds. And our goal is to take the kids on deliveries, because what Vicki said is, you can't imagine what it's like for these kids to have a place to sleep of their own, a bed, and their own things, their own bedding. And she said it's just one of the most moving experiences that you can imagine. So you can tell about Vicki and
So
what we
Vicki
did.
is Vicki McDougall, and she was my husband's secretary for a long time. She worked at the computer store, and so we knew her, and she's very bubbly, and she asked us after we did the kids did the blankets. She asked us to come to their potluck. I don't know if we
It was
call it.
a thanking,
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
kind of a
you.
Thanksgiving
And while
for
we were
volunteers.
there, I mean, there were hundreds of people there. It seemed like, or 150 people maybe, um, and then they had people that kind of gave their there's a word for that when you testimonial, that's it. They gave their testimonials, and one of the people was from the Knights of Columbus here in Brookings, and they apparently have taken that on as, but actually building the beds. And it was one of those things where the Brookings people did it, and then they told these people, and then they've got a network all over South Dakota of building the beds. And they might get a call that says they need 70 beds in Rapid City, for example, and then they just get to work. And the building that we were in was a building that was that they were able to acquire, and they've got all these stations with all the equipment comes down, and they build these beds there. And then if you go in the back room, then they've got mattresses stacked, and they get these from like maybe Costco or some, they get a deal. They get bedding and that sort of thing. Although I know that we personally have donated sheet sets and that sort of thing. So there is a call out for that sort of thing if people are wanting to give. But it was just amazing. And then she took us into the room with the quilts. And there are people who are making, honest to go to bedspreads, and they're just stacked, and and they're all different colors, and any kid would be, just thrilled to get these. And then she was talking about the teddy bears. And so what we talked about doing then was to have our kids, even the smaller kids, do a teddy bear drive
here at St. Paul's.
here at St. Paul's. And so we had boxes of the things, we're talking. And then it was Christmas time. And so we did a little, little pageant sort of a thing. But what it was kids doing readings. And so Erica, the mother of the baby you baptized today, said, well, I can come up with a poem on AI. And so we typed in what we wanted. We wanted a little story about a child. So one of our little kids was up there, like they were homeless and so on. And one of the older girls was reading the story, and how there was a story about a teddy bear who wanted a home. And so then we brought out, that the child had a teddy bear. But then we had invited Vicki to this. And then I won't be able to talk.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Well, so then we presented her with the teddy bears.
The boxes of teddy bears.
The boxes of teddy bears. And it was marvelous. And then we also donated to Sleep in Heavenly Peace too, because we do some outreach like that, just monetary, what's the word I want here? Donations. Yeah. And so it was extremely moving. And I mean, you think of tucking a kid in at night, and I had a teddy bear. I still have my teddy bear. But you see a child in a bed with blankets and sheets and a pillow and a teddy, and and you say the prayers and imagine not having that. I'm getting choked up because.
And there's no cost to the people, the recipients. There's no cost to this. But I think there's a top age limit, maybe 18 or something like that. And
I believe it is.
And it's not for the parents, it's for the kids.
For the kids.
They're twin bed sizes.
Yeah. What I really love about the story and the testimony, that's what you're really offering, the testimony that that you're sharing with us. Is that it shows how transformation can take place on such a personal, simple level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when you heard me talking earlier this morning about how do we become a missional church, how do we fulfill the scriptures that we've heard, we think of these grandiose idea
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
that seem so far beyond us. Because like Jesus was treated in his hometown, we know ourselves, and as a result, we sell ourselves short.
Mm-hmm.
But to buy a teddy bear,
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
purchase some sheets, to donate a quilt, to make a difference in the life of some of our communities, the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
The folks who do not enjoy the safety and security that we so take for granted every time we go to bed at night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is being the church that many folks don't expect us to be, and it's doable,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely doable, wanted, needed, doable,
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
scriptural.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
You were about to do that.
I was just going to say, you can look up Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Go ahead and just Google it, and you'll get results. And it's very easy to step in and make a difference for as many times as you want. A one-shot deal or whatever.
We're a small
Yeah.
parish, so it's not realistic that we could say we'll build 20 beds,
Right.
but we can do what we did.
Yeah. We made the fleece bank.
Wanted?
Mhm.
Is it needed?
Mhm.
Is it doable? What's the scriptural missional component?
Yes, exactly.
So you do what you can do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And no such thing as a small parish.
You're right.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.